Hello, this is TheeWall200. I'm here with a different video. Today's video is going to be why you should vote for TheeWall200. And this is like kind of a scenario thing of if I were to become president and my word is pretty much law kind of situation. Anything I say would get done, and anyone that opposed me would get scrutinized and pretty much put under. And I'm pretty much, like a super president more say, and this is what I would do if I was president and I didn't get much resistance on whatever I decided in, and things was just get done. And first thing, I would probably run for independent. I know that seems a bit strange, but I don't really believe in right wing, left wing kind of politics. I'm a centrist. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not a fence sitter either. So I do take stands. I do take sides. I have right wing opinions and have left wing opinions, but I'm just centrist, and I don't think there's anything really wrong with that. But on to what I would change is number one. I think I would change the Senate. You would have to get voted in for your position. A lot of these positions do not have any restrictions. So a lot of them either retire or die, and I think that has to change. Anyone in that kind of power dynamic should be voted in. I say 4 to 6 years. You have to be voted in every 4 or 6 years. I would change the complete Senate. Sure, you might get some half-ass in there accidentally once in a while, but you know what? If you can't freaking compete, then you can't compete. If you can't, maintain your position through, I guess ads or going on TV and whatnot, and saying what you're going to do for in the Senate, then you shouldn't be in there. That's pretty much all I would change that for real, because I think that needs to be changed. And if it was possible, I would definitely change a lot of the healthcare system and educational system. With healthcare, I would mind trying to get a universal healthcare. I think this is really needed, or at least something that's very close to universal healthcare. And I know I'm going to sound like a commie in my previous video. I'll private tax the rich, because a lot of these 500 Fortune companies do not pay taxes. And I think rich people should pay taxes. A lot of them fucking don't, because of how the whole tax things work. And maybe the whole system of taxes need to be revamped and revised so, it's a little bit more even, or at least the rich pay some taxes here and there, that's just complete bullshit. I don't believe in that, really. I'm not a commie, I promise you. But onto the more so, I guess, educational purposes, I think this needs to be revamped and revived also. We're very far behind in the educational system, especially high school. Now our colleges are pretty damn good, but our high school is not really good. And a lot of these, schools pump out, scores. A lot of it has to do with how well the students are doing. The more and more students that do well, the more money they get. So they pass failing students, and No Child Left Behind became the light. And I think that needs to all go. And you know what? If you can't pass, you can't pass. You get held back. That was the way I grew up. It's like if you didn't pass your class, you would get held back a year or two, or depending how long you went. If you slacked off or whatever, you were just behind. And not everyone can be smart or have a very good education through high school or whatnot, but some people can be very successful after doing that and not getting a high school diploma. Some people just go to college and get their degree and do very well in life. So I don't think that's really a something that should hold you back. Also, if I had a choice, I would reform the whole legal system. I think this needs a very vast change. A lot of stuff. I know this is state to state. Usually, there's nothing really a president can do about it. But if I had the power to do so, I'd definitely rectify some shit that needs to be fixed in the prison systems and stuff like that. And I would actually pull for legalizing drugs. I know that seems like extreme, since Richard Nixon did all this thing. The fight against drugs isn't a fight. It's essentially a losing battle. I can get any drug I want to if I really wanted to. All I need is pay for it. Sure, I have to get someone I trusted or whatnot, so I wouldn't get arrested and have a record on my shit for selling or buying drugs. But I think this would be the ends justify the means kind of thing, and it might create an epidemic with the harder drugs, more mind altering drugs, especially uh, you know the ecstasy and stuff like that. So it might do more harm than good, but we'll never know until we get rid of that, and maybe instill some drug rehabs or. A lot of these other countries do that. Like, they don't put you down your arrest record. They put you for rehab, and if you get caught like several times, then yeah, you'll get charged. But at least there's a system where you might be able to drop your addiction, seek help, and actually be a productive citizen. Now, not everyone's going to do that, granted, but that'd be a nice thing to at least try out. Now, also, maybe tries to do something with our infrastructure. This is very something I think we need to take care of throughout the United States. We're really bad on our road systems. Sure, it's not all that fucking completely shit, but it could use an overhaul for sure. I would maybe do a little bit balancing with the budget or whatever, and try to get an actual good road system in. From one of the richest countries in the world, we at least should have some half decent roads and shit like that, bridges and stuff like that. I would probably try to rework the military system a little bit and not push so much money into our defense. I think we're number one in the world or something like that in the military budget wise. It's up there. I can't remember if we're number one or we're very close to being number one in the whole world of military budget. It's huge and it should be reduced a little bit. I'm not talking about like losing troops or anything like that, but it would be really nice to look at that and maybe reduce a few things here and there. That's probably not fucking needed at all. Speaking about the military, I'd probably pull everyone from Afghanistan and Iraq and all over in the Middle East. I don't think we should be there at all. And it looks like we're trying just there just for the oil, most likely. And it just seems like they don't want us there for sure. They're attacking an embassy and shit like that. So I say within a year, I'd probably do everybody and extract everybody out from there. I wouldn't do it like all like in a 3 month period. I don't think that's really advisable or a very smart thing to do, because soon we pull out a bunch of troops, they might attack again and whatnot. But I just within a year, everyone would be out of there, and we wouldn't fuck with them anymore unless they did something horrendous that we could just we had to intervene, just do stuff like that, and we had to go in there and help out or do whatever we would do over there. I don't know 100% what's going on over there, but definitely would bring every troop home and reevaluate some of our foreign aid policies. Because I think a lot of these countries probably don't deserve our aid or warrant our aid. I'm not saying we just like, hey, fuck them. No, like we would help out like natural disasters and stuff like that. I think that'd be a very, pretty obvious thing to help out at. But everything else, I don't think, unless they're really, desperate and people are starving and just going without and people are dying, whatever, then yeah, we'll definitely help out there. But other than that, I don't think we should definitely just look at where we're distributing our money in foreign aids at and cut someone off. And talking about foreign stuff, I think I would put back some of the tariffs that Trump made. Not all of them, because it does seem to be helping. Maybe not in the long run. I know this is kind of affecting a lot of like farmers and shit like that. So it does look like there's a bit of a backlash from his tariffs. So I'd probably ease up on some of those. Not maybe all of them, but most of them, because it seems like it's, as of right now, hurting more than it's actually benefiting us. It does look like it is somewhat benefiting the economy and stuff like that. So Definitely, I wouldn't reverse everything Trump's done. Now, with the whole wall situation, I don't know exactly how I would do this. The immigration policy, I think, needs to be enforced because the amnesty thing is really strange how it works. You have to claim amnesty the first country you go into. You just can't go from Africa to Mexico to go into the United States. You have to claim amnesty at the first country you go in, and I think it needs maybe a little bit reworked where it's a little bit easier to come into the United States, but still hard enough where you just can't come in here and do whatever, like a free border policy, because I think could be a very dangerous thing to do. I'm not saying these foreigners or Mexicans or whoever comes from over wherever they're coming from are dangerous. I'm not trying to, you know, put them in that light, but at least background checks, and maybe they can actually prove that they're a kind of oppressed people and they need to claim amnesty. Now, like the whole drug lord situation in there, that doesn't really cover the amnesty thing. You have to be like under like a dictatorship, and people are dying from like starvation and stuff like that, like or diseases or whatnot, to claim amnesty in the United States. And I think the border policy needs to be enforced. I know that's probably going to be people being mad about uh, uh, mostly Mexicans, not all of Mexicans, but the vast majority of Mexicans being deported. It's not just Mexicans, it's a few other, from like, I can't remember exactly what country, but it's definitely the vast majority of people that come from different countries that are, deported. So I definitely enforce it, but I try to ease how how easy it is to come in here, just to maybe actually give some of these people a chance at some real, I guess, life. Then that it's not in Mexico where you're poor and drug lords and all this shit going on down there. I'd also working to try to work in some mental health and trying to do something with the homeless. I'll go over for the mental health because there's been a lot of shootings and there's a lot of controversy over the guns and making new laws and stuff like this. And this is a very hard topic because doing nothing does just that. It does nothing, and there does seem to be a problem. Even though that could be just media reporting all these instances, and that's kind of inflates everything, and people kind of want to copycat that and get infamous off of that because they see all the news coverage these people get, and it's kind of like a chain reaction. And studies have been conducted. If the news reports suicides, the suicide rate goes up. Kind of like the same effect there, uh, where you see a shooting, so they commit a shooting too because all the news coverage they get. So maybe they to rectify this. Sure, you do in the news, but you don't say the name or the motives. I know there's a lot of been kind of mostly right wingers doing the shootings. There was like a few left wing kind of people who did shootings, or like two, I think, out of everybody that were confirmed to be in more of a left wing situation. So there's a lot of tensions from the left side and the right side. Mostly it looks like everyone from who does these shootings seems to be coming from the right side, and even have some very very right side of the spectrum beliefs. But I think at least some kind of mental institutions need to come at, not the way they used to be, where they just locked you up in a padded wall and just left you fucking there. You would have to be either committed through some kind of evaluation. You can't just be put in there just because you have to either volunteer to come in there, or you have to be in a serious condition where you're going to harm people or you're going to kill somebody to be put in there against your will. because we don't want people in there who don't really want to go in there and don't deserve to be in there. You can put a lot of people in there that you just don't like and have political prisoners and shit like that. It definitely can become a slippery slope of a kind of thing if we don't regulate it and make sure everyone's in there that needs to be in there. So that'd be a little bit hard to balance, but I think we can get it done. And with these facilities around, I think some people just need a place to go where they can vent their dark thoughts and shit, and maybe get committed, and they may think that they'll harm somebody. They just need somewhere to go, and so they don't put out these thoughts into real life. Now, solving the homeless situation would be incredibly difficult, I think, because a lot of not everyone's like this, but some of them are addicted to drugs or alcohol, or some people have just lost their job and just out on luck. There's a lot of people who, I know that's a stigma, and for people that are like, oh, all these homeless people are, drug addicts or alcoholics, when that's not the case usually. Some of them are, and I know that's the kind of the stereotype of homeless people you get, but I think the vast majority are just out of luck, lost their job, and just don't have anywhere else to go. But solving this problem is very hard because some of them won't kind of convert. They'll just stay homeless, and some of these people like living off the grid and not knowing where they're at or stuff like that. And some of them just don't have families; they're all dead or something, and they have nowhere to go. And this would be a very hard thing to solve. Opening up more homeless shelters, probably not the exact solution, but maybe if they're up to it, you can clean them up, or have these facilities where they have a trade that they can learn, like plumbing or electrician or whatever skill they want to go into. Where they at least learn the very basics of some things, or even have some advanced classes where they can actually be productive citizens and actually contribute to society. This would be a very expensive thing. I know that, and if we had infinite money, that'd be something I'd definitely put into effect, is giving them at least some kind of education where they can get by. And maybe put some of this, because some of these people have some skills, they just don't know what it is. Put them through some kind of, I guess, trade school or a vocational educational thing, where they can learn something actually useful that would require a lot of, nothing you would run out of kind of a situation. You're always going to need electricians, you're going to need plumbers, you're always going to need, some kind of function of even construction and stuff like that. Some kind of skill that they can put forth. And if they can't do it, then I don't think there's much hope for them. At least you can say you tried to convert these people into productive citizens. I'm pretty sure I covered a lot of stuff that I would definitely change. Maybe I could go in a little bit more detail of what you can do with some of these things, but I think I covered a lot. And if you like my policies or against them, leave a comment. And thank you for listening.